there's so much drama, there's such extreme language. Well, we're hearing from public officials who have been careful along the way. They're using extreme language because they say the president is acting in extreme and potentially unlawful ways. They're saying we are now in the quote constitutional crisis.
Do you agree with Chairman Nadler that the country is currently in a constitutional crisis?
Yes, I do agree with Chairman Nadler. It's a path that is producing results and gathering information. And some of that information is that this administration wants to have a constitutional crisis because they do not respect the oath of office that they take.
I'm joined now by Kathy Kay, Washington anchor for BBC News. Matt Miller, word to the Justice Department under the Obama-Holder administration. Juanita Tolliver, director of campaign to the Center for American Progress Action Fund. Matt, when you see it all laid out there, the president's need to raise his other defenses and water down some of his older claims about obstruction and unrelated events, and the pressure on him and Attorney General Barr, and what the speaker is saying, what do you think is actually happening here? And do you agree that we are actually at a crisis, or is it not that time yet?
You know, I think how the courts respond to what's happening and whether they're able to respond quickly is going to determine whether we're in a crisis or not. I think where we are right now is we're seeing a complete breakdown of the constitutional orders. The fact that the White House is not just refusing to turn over documents on one thing. If it were just not turning over documents on the Mueller report, well, while that's unacceptable, it might, it could be something that can be worked out over the usual course of business in the courts. But it's not just that. It's the House's investigations into family separation. It's their investigations into the administration's failure to defend the Affordable Care Act. It's issue after issue where they are just refusing to turn over any documents that gets you to the point where the normal constitutional order has broken down. And I think if the courts allow that to go on for any extended period of time, if they take their usual course of action, which is to allow the White House to drag this out for months, if not years, then I think, yes, we are in a constitutional crisis. And I think what the Speaker said something very interesting today, which is they're not going to bring this resolution of contempt up right away. They may wait and see another committee do the same thing. There may be other cabinet members held in contempt. They may try and enforce other subpoenas. And I think what they're trying to do potentially is put together a litigation strategy where they go to the courts and say the point I was just making, which is it's not one thing, it's everything. And if you don't step in and make this administration change their behavior immediately, a constitutional crisis is upon us and congressional oversight may be dead forever.
Yeah, you put it starkly. And Kathy, the Attorney General has shown himself to be willing to really push the limits. He was at a departure ceremony, a celebration of sorts for Rod Rosenstein. There are any number of ways to deal with that. You certainly don't need to get into your own legal problems if you don't want to. This is how we dealt with it. I want to show this to viewers. Attorney General of the United States speaking in public here in the wake of this historic vote of contempt by the Judiciary Committee. Take a look.
In those days, the deputy job was a lot different. But I'll tell you now, the attorney general job is a lot different. You'd like records. This must be a record of attorney general being proposed for contempt within 100 days of taking office.
Yeah, funny thing to make a joke about, right?
And for an attorney general.
For an attorney general who is facing contempt charge. There are lots of debates amongst constitutional scholars about whether we are in a constitutional crisis at the moment or whether we get to that point when a court goes through this process, issues an order, the White House then defines it, and would that actually be the moment of constitutional crisis? So there is one debate about whether we're there or not. I think the issue for the White House is whether they are overplaying their hand, as Matt is suggesting, by defying demands on every front from Congress. And then the issue, I suppose, for the Democrats, on the other hand, is whether they risk overplaying their hand by asking for so much that they weaken their legal position as well. This has to go through the courts. And the question, as we've seen in precedent on this in the Bush administration, is whether we actually get to a resolution when Donald Trump is still in office.
Yeah, and Chairman Nadler is very clearly driving this with all the legal sophistication that he has. I mean, Donald, it's so fascinating the way these relationships sometimes transpire. Because Donald Trump and Jerry Nadler have dealt with each other. They understand each other. I believe in a certain way, although you wouldn't know it recently, I actually believe in a certain way they privately respect each other's hustle. They are tough New Yorkers. So Donald Trump knows deep down exactly who he's that Nadler has a plan beyond one vote, one hearing, and that Mueller, of course, loses the background. With that in mind, take a look at it and Chairman Nadler saying what they can also do today.
Eventually we will hear from Mueller, because we will, if we have to, we will subpoena him if we have to. I certainly hope it doesn't come to our necessity to subpoena him.
What does it tell you that there is now such a concern over Mueller talking?
That phrase that Donald Trump used today, in that kind of slightly long, rambling spiel that he gave, talking incessantly, I'm not as convinced, perhaps as you are, that that word essentially, cleared of obstruction, means that Donald Trump is really backtracking. I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump goes out to the next campaign rally and the headline is "No collusion, no obstruction." It's possible that he's there.
Let's talk it out, because I think you raised an interesting counterpoint. To me, I'm wondering whether, when he controls the overwhelming narrative of the report, he's comfortable in the no collusion, no obstruction landscape. And he thinks, and he may be right, he's quite cynical, but he thinks that Barr and their echo chamber on television says this to enough people, that's more or less the end of it. And that if Mueller has a made-for-TV, nationally broadcast presentation of the evidence, even for that crowd, the no obstruction whatsoever doesn't seem to hold as well.
Yeah, I mean, whatever Trump said today about this is effectively Barr's decision, there is no doubt that Trump does not want Mueller to testify. What is in this for Trump? To have Mueller, the person who has the ultimate respect and who is the author of the report, come out and say, actually, the president's definition of whether he was cleared of obstruction was not my definition. And to say that to the American people, and it would be blockbuster. You can get out the popcorn, everybody will be watching that particular moment. So there is no vested interest in the president having that moment. The White House does feel there is still an interest for them in having Democrats launch impeachment proceedings. That is
Right,
still
and some of them may think that fight
they
is good.
think that fight is still worth them.
Which is, again, that's just the politics. So then you have both sides talking about politics instead of the serious constitutional obligation. Juanita, what do you think of all these offers?
I think honestly, when he has his next campaign rally, Trump is likely going to be saying, well, what is collusion? What is obstruction? And muddying the definition further. Because what he understands is his base probably will not dig into that nuance. And they probably already don't believe Mueller. And so he's just going to double down on that. And this is straight out of his playbook. Like we showed earlier, he's already criticizing Mueller. He's already throwing false accusations out there about his reputation, trying to sully his name as well, because he knows that eventually Mueller is going to testify, and he's going to blow the lid off of everything that Trump's been hiding, leveraging executive privilege to do it, and now laying a blanket statement that none of the people associated with him should respond to subpoenas.
And Juanita, what did you think of Bill Barr's handling of the contempt issue?
Come on. If this is a joke in his mind, that says a lot about his character and what he really believes as he's supposed to be the top law enforcement officer for the American people. This just double downs on the fact that he is really right alongside Trump, working as his personal defense attorney on all of this.
Let me just push Matt on this, who will serve for the only other sitting attorney general who's held in contempt. Matt, although I think the tone was different, there are plenty of folks who would say that you and your boss basically worked very hard to discredit any effort for contempt, even though ultimately it did result in, and I'm simplifying, but a somewhat adverse ruling that disclosed evidence. How do you respond to that?
Look, I think they're very different, and not to go back in time to Fast and Furious, but it's a very different thing then. By the time Holder was held in contempt, the Justice Department had turned over nearly 8,000 pages of documents. They made multiple witnesses available for interviews. It was really one set of documents that they were trying to hold on to, and as you know, they eventually lost in court. That's very different.
Well, they have mixed decision. I call it mixed decision.
Mixed decision, but for the most part, lost. It's very different than what's happening with this Justice Department, where they're refusing to turn over anything. They're refusing to make witnesses available. It's very clear that the president is going to serve executive privilege over Don McGahn's testimony. And as for Bob Mueller, I think it's pretty clear the Attorney General is already blocking his testimony. He may eventually testify. The House wants him next week. They've been asking for him for a while. It's pretty clear, I think, at this point, this seems unlikely to happen. At some point, it's, I think, obvious that they don't want any witnesses to come forward because, as you point out, there are a lot of things Trump doesn't understand. I think sometimes intentionally doesn't understand, but one thing he gets is television. And he knows that if Bob Mueller comes up to testify, if Don McGahn comes up to testify, suddenly dry words in a report that most of the American public don't read come alive on TV, and that's a problem for him.
And that's where all the serious constitutional legal stuff intersects with how people learn things and make up their minds. It's the same with debates, and everyone knows in campaigns you try to lower the expectation, you try to raise the expectations of your opponent in a debate because of the way it's going to play. Well, if this is where it ends, you could argue that Barr did a lot of spin that worked. I think the concern is they've actually changed the expectations game where people hear out of Mueller's mouth 5+ more felonies in the way that the evidence presented. The expectations game may boomerang on them. So it's like, that's why we're in this high-stakes thing. I'm going to fit in a break, so I want to thank Kathy, Matt, I want to thank each of you for your expertise tonight.
Thanks, Art.
Thank you guys. Coming up, we have a top Senate Democrat now giving this red-hot warning for Don Jr. if he defies a subpoena. We'll tell you what it is. Meanwhile, his father coming to his defense. Donald Trump's first response to, yes, a subpoena of a presidential family member. That's a big deal. Then this bizarre and disturbing moment at a Trump rally. Real-life politics colliding with the HBO series Veep.
Come on. Yellow? Seriously, yellow.
We're going to get into all of it. This Sunday is Veep series finale. 2 of the show's creative minds are here, my very special guests. And then later, I'm going back up to the roof because I have the one and only Common on the beat tonight. Please don't go anywhere. I'm Arvell. We'll be right back.
Only Fidelity offers 4 zero expense ratio index funds directly to investors. And now we have 0 account
working out,
brokerage
right?
accounts.
Did she come back yet?
Fidelity,
She
those
didn't.
zeros really add up.
I'm on my way down here for her.
This is the couple who wanted to get away, who used Expedia to book the hotel. That led to the ride, which took them to the place where they discovered that sometimes a little downtime can lift you right up. Flights, hotels, cars, activities, Expedia, everything you need to go.
Is he going back to the salad bar? It's endless ribs at Golden Corral. Blue ribbons for baby back. And it can be bourbon grill.
Ribs, meat ribs. Endless ribs, Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
Whether it's a new opportunity or new suit, you always know a good fit. Good on you. Stay cool this summer with performance suits starting at $279 and buy one get one free on select items. Now through Sunday, shop online and in store. Only at Men's Wear. You'll ask, what's stiff joints? What's bad back? Advil is relief that's fast, strength that lasts. You'll ask, what pain with Advil liquid gels?
Yes, I'm doing it all. The water, the exercise, the fiber. Month after month, and I still have belly pain and constipation. So I asked my doctor what else I could do, and I said yes, Linzess.
Linzess treats adults with IBS with constipation or chronic constipation. Linzess is not a laxative. It works differently. It helps relieve belly pain and lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements. Do not give Linzess to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
I'm still doing it all. The water, the exercise, the fiber. And I said yes to Linzess for help with belly pain and recurring constipation. Ask your doctor.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. Call right now for your free book. And as a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report. We researched over 1,200 annuities and summarized the rates and benefits of annuities from financially strong insurers. Again, that's Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and a free annuity rate report, both absolutely free. We're calling Annuity General today. Supplies are limited. Call now. Call 800-769-0755.
son's a very good person, works very hard, and frankly, for my son, after being exonerated, to now get a subpoena to go again and speak again after close to 20 hours of telling everybody that would listen about a nothing meeting, yeah, I'm pretty surprised.
Donald Trump, of course, was found to fight all the subpoenas, not just those for his family, but he addressed all of it.
Fight that subpoena? Well, we'll see what happens. I'm just very surprised. I really am.
I'm joined by former federal prosecutor Glenn Kirshner, who worked for Obama at the District of Columbia U.S. Attorney's Office. Good to see you. Good to see you, Art. Let's start in the fairest possible way. I reported the day the Mueller report came out that it clearly did not present much criminal evidence against Donald Trump for the infamous, Donald Trump Jr., the infamous Trump Tower meeting. And in no other way did it seem to suggest that his testimony before that investigation was essential or needed. So what do you say to people who look at all that, including the president, and say, what is this about?
So, first of all, here's what I'll say, Ari, and I agree with your characterization of the Mueller report, but let's focus for a moment on the June 9 Trump Tower meeting. We just heard the president say at a press conference earlier today that Don Jr. was telling everybody who would listen what that meeting was about. And yet, I don't want to get down into the weeds, but let's look at Volume 1, page 117, where Bob Mueller sets out the truth about whether Don Jr. told everyone about that meeting. I'm going to put my glasses on because I'm old. But it says that the Office of Special Counsel spoke with all of the participants, and there were 8 of them in the Trump Tower meeting, except Veselnitskaya and Don Jr., who declined to be voluntarily interviewed by special counsel. So, frankly, the president saying that Don Jr. told everybody everything they wanted to know is hogwash. He wouldn't even talk to special counsel about that meeting.
What is, in your view, the priority of the United States Senate reviewing whether Donald Trump Jr. lied, misspoke, or mischaracterized something that in this instance, though, Bob Mueller, not only, again, I want to be clear, not only did not find the criminal evidence of a crime, but didn't find it necessary to force Jr. to testify. As you know, he forced plenty of other people to testify.
Well, let me answer your second question first. We don't know if Bob Mueller tried to force Don Jr. to testify because on page 117, that passage that I just read, right after that, Ari, it's blacked out. I can tell you probably...
We know that he reached his... You're right. But he didn't reach his conclusion. He did not say that that's prevented him from doing so. On that,
I agree. He reached the conclusion based on incomplete evidence. He did the best he could. But I'll bet under that redaction, Ari, it said that Don Jr.'s lawyer said he would invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination if subpoenaed to the grand jury. And now, fast forward, here we are. And you ask the question, what does the committee now want from Don Jr.? I think they want all the information to determine the extent of Russian involvement and interference.
Which goes to their oversight powers. You said you bet. How much will you bet?
I will bet at least $1.50.
Will you bet all your old pictures of you and Bob Mueller that we show sometimes?
I will not give those pictures up for anything.
I heard people want those signed pictures, but they want them more signed by him than by you.
I don't disagree with my signature, and $4 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
I'm kidding. I would want your signature just like your analysis. Glenn, you've been in the room, you've been there, and you are quick with the facts and the details. We always appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, Art.
Thank you. Up ahead in the show later, we have Grammy-winning musician, rapper, and activist Khaled is on the beat for the first time. 30 seconds. Donald Trump, episode of Beat. The executive producers of the show join me. We're back in 30.
What you want? Put your back on again. You just can't tell.
kicking off cruel political absurdities for 7 seasons, is now approaching its finale in a Trump era with realities that could have come from the show's creators, including Frank Rich and David Mandel, who join me for a special discussion right now tonight. Now, just last night, the president engaged with Strauss.
Wow, he's all over the place.
That's blatantly echoed a beat scene that aired this week.
But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that stuff.
But the other real killer is diseases. How do these diseases get into America? Immigrants. Yeah, no, we don't have to kill all of them. But there are some good immigrants. Beyonce? Jonah did not seem to know Beyonce, who was born in Texas, just as Trump didn't seem to know Frederick Douglass died back in 1995. But each new season depicts Julia Myers angling for foreign help in the election. The role, of course, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, whose role has led her to hanging out with none other than President Obama, a self-declared fan of this show. She also hooked up with then VP Joe Biden for a parody video that had them cruising Washington in the yellow Lamborghini, breaking into the West Wing, which Biden's now eyeing in real life. And then more broadly, Biden's character has had a keen eye for the Beltway's unearned arrogance.
I'm used to dealing with angry, aggressive, dysfunctional men, i.e., men.
Glasses make me look weak. It's like a wheelchair for the eye. Very big Spencer ABC. Oh yeah, well, I'm fluent in bastard. Okay, it's one of my languages.
Number one, Congressman, I'm sick of taking your... Okay? Number two, number one again.
I'm joined by 2 executive producers of the Frank Rich and David Mandel. What a time to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Did the president's rally remind you of your show?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to say this. We sit in that writer's room. I spent the last years of my life trying to come up with things that are impossible to happen. Like, what's the craziest thing I can think of that shouldn't ever happen? And they're happening weekly at this point, and it's unsettling, actually. I don't know what other word to use. I have to point out that Jonah seemed somewhat to the left of Trump, and that he didn't think all immigrants should meet their demands. It wasn't just the shoot them, it was also, we had a huge Florida run, and he was in like Panama City, Florida, and we sort of keyed in on Florida being the state most likely to go for Jonah because of its, I can remember it was the mix of deadbeat dads, deadbeat moms. It was a long litany of crazy people in Florida. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Let's look at Jonah talking about how he has to defeat not only his critics, but his own staff. You know who else thinks that I don't have the intelligence or the temperament to be president? My very own campaign staff. That's right. They have been trying to stop me from becoming president. Let it happen. Is Jonah Trump?
Jonah's not Trump. The show has always, and guaranteed even a touch more so in my sort of tenure. The show was originally created by Armando Iannucci, and I took over after the 4th season. We've always looked to real politics. We've always looked to real history. If you look back to, I don't know, my first season of the show, we did sort of our version of the tie. You know, we did our version of the Florida tie. We did a Nevada recount. So we've always looked to the past. Right now, we've been trying to look at what's going on because things have been changing so much, and so obviously we're closer to it, but that's something the show obviously very close. Yeah.
Very close, Frank. I'll ask you a different question. With a different clip. Is Jonah Joe Donnelly? For the most part, I'm an easygoing guy, but not when Mike Braun keeps lying about my record.
You can jump on prosperity.
He's to the left wants to chop defense spending. No way. I'm about giving our troops the edge.
He's chopping back on the line.
Jonah, I think that's the answer to that one. Jonah's not Joe Dolly, but Joe Dolly making Jonah. Exactly. And get back to the overall, this crazy coincidences or people reading stuff into it. Before we were even on the air, Breitbart, having seen that Julia was a Democratic contributor.
Look at you pull back. Stop pulling back. You just get rid of it. You cannot pull back.
Sarah Palin.
You cannot pull back. It's just
and we keep anticipating stuff. Early in the show, we anticipated the server scandal. The Hillary Clinton server scandal, but she's not Hillary Clinton. And then later she became Hillary Clinton. Actually, I would argue if anybody's Trump, Selena's Trump. I mean, not that anybody is Trump, but people like to very easily go woman, Hillary, man, Trump. So, but she's horrific and despicable in many similar ways, and sort of holds grudges and has sort of a very sort of a hair trigger temper and that kind of a thing. But but just to pretend to like her family and doesn't give a lot to charity, I don't think. Doesn't give a lot to charity. I think invokes God when she feels it serves her own purposes. The look at the index of her own memoir to find out her own position on abortion. Not fun.
Stay.
And no pay taxes. But other than that, it's like a tax return story around.
So, is there this overlap because you're telling human stories and politics is full of simply extreme humans, or is this something specific to the political class?
I think it is. To me, it's specific to where politics is these days. It has happened where we do try and tell stories about humans, but I do think as we do our research, we meet at the beginning of every year, we have we sort of have these wonderful consultants from, by the way, both sides of the aisle, because I do think it's very important to say that while Julie may give to Democratic causes, as might I, as might Frank, the show itself goes out of its way to never mention politics. There's no Democrat, there's no Republican. We mix up the colors, the red and the blue, we mix up the issues. We do our research, and so a couple of years ago, this is just an example, we were looking for our sort of 55 mile per hour kind of issue, kind of like a la Reagan, and we landed on daylight savings. Like, wouldn't that be a silly, stupid issue for politicians to take very seriously? And the reason we did it was because we were told, once in a blue moon, someone brings it up. So we did it. Then about a year later, people started doing it for real.
Right.
And you just kind of go, what's happening?
And Frank, you wrote a lot about this very tendency in political life, media, and entertainment when you were writing the New York Times. Right after Bush famously landed the Mission Impossible carrier, you said, Bush is an incumbent who, for all his unease with a teleprompter, knows his message and is exploiting TV more cagily than any president in history.
Yes, and he actually, for that Mission Accomplished show, he used former TV news producers, and not just from Fox, to stage it and to make sure the lighting was right, and to make sure that the aircraft carrier was turned in such a way that you wouldn't see that it was only a couple of hundred miles, and not even that far, a couple of miles from downtown San Diego. It looked like he was in the middle of the Pacific, landing, about ready to, bomb Tokyo or something, but
So, how do you contrast that to what Trump does? I mean, I guess he would use a meme of the plane without actually getting in it.
Yeah, he couldn't be bothered to get in the plane, and he was used to, being an NBC star personality. Everything sort of, he was just suited up and sent onto the set. And Bush also was careful. He tell people he was in the plane. Oh, he would. Although we have to say, Bush gave the impression when he landed in that plane that day that he had been, solo flying in Vietnam with effect. He never left the Texas Air National Guard.
So you're talking about the size of the lie, but the lie persists.
I was just going to say, I am no great fan of Bush, but it's that thing that, the Washington Post is quite good about charting these days, the frequency of the lies. I mean, we're up to like 5 a day, whereas we used to be used to one every month or so, even if it was one every week. It's that frequency. It's just, what was it today with the New York Times and the taxes today? It's sort of like, I'm really smart, that never happened,
The Mueller report
You can't get mad.
exonerated me. The Mueller report is 100% exonerated me. You can't see the Mueller report. I mean, it's just, what do you do with that? And it does start to feel like comedy writer dialogue.
Yeah, and that's sort of, we land where we began.
Yeah.
But slightly more depressed.
Yeah.
Slightly? David Mandel. A lot more.
Do it. This is not good.
Great to have you both here. As I mentioned, the season finale airs this Sunday on HBO. And up ahead, my interview with an Oscar, Emmy, Grammy-winning musician, Common. We're going to talk politics, why he took on Trump at the Oscars, and a whole lot more. That's next.
I love this fucking message. Stop. John. Jesus Christ. Wow, you can't do it. You can't do it.
Settle for a restless night's sleep. There's a better choice. Aleve PM, the only one to combine a safe sleep aid and the 12-hour pain-relieving strength to believe that dares to last into the morning, so you feel refreshed. Aleve PM, there's a better choice. You wouldn't expect it to do a good job from anyone else. Why? Except to figure out what you pills. Flonase Sensitive relieves all your worst symptoms, including nasal congestion, which most pills don't, and all from a gentle mist you can barely feel. Flonase Sensitive. Introducing your passport to adventure. The all-new Passport from Honda. We're Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh, and you may remember us from your very first sandwich. You're moving to a feast. Your bold canine caper. Your dinner paradise. Your mammoth masterpiece. Your 3 free snack. And whatever happened here? Because we make Deli Fresh with all the good of the deli. No artificial preservatives, no added nitrates or nitrites. Make every sandwich count with Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh. Tecovas does some things the way they've always been done. We make traditional Western foods. As for everything else,
He's just terrible. He's got no
handmade with the highest quality orders, sold only direct to you for a fair price. With free shipping, returns, and exchanges, a service that would make our grandmother proud. Everything we do is for you. Find your picker at Tecovas.com. The Country Network Plus, it's your country. Whether it's the big star's music video of their new hit, or a rising star telling an intimate story, or a superstar playing a song for the very first time.
You're so boss.
The Country Network Plus. Now available on Dish at mydish.com/2cn.
Tonight on The Roof, I'm joined by world-famous artist and musician Common, who's won an Oscar, an Emmy, and is a 20-time Grammy nominee, including winning Grammys for his work with Erykah Badu and John Legend, including for the song for the movie Selma. And you may know him from his impact on everything from music to movies to policy and politics.
Reminding us all once more of the glory of music. Ladies and gentlemen, John Legend and Common.
The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. She talked to me. You don't be talking to me. I talk. She asked me how I'm doing. She asked what's going on. Where you at? Reserve the poetry meeting at the White House. Progressive rapper Common. Was the subject of Fox News Channel's latest exercise in fits of hissing. You perform.
He always wins. Everything we do together, he wins. If he didn't win, I would be surprised.
And Common's new memoir is Let Love Have the Last Word. You once said if rap was Harlem, you'd be James Baldwin?
Yes.
And you must admit that you're an author now.
Wow, man. I mean, I'm not authoring at that level.
this book is out and that I was able to tell a lot of my truth, to write a lot about my journey to love better and love in a greater way for myself, for my loved ones around me, for strangers, for the world. And I think it's, it's something that in my life I want to, from my experiences, be able to tell my experiences so it can help others.
One of the experiences is you explained you had something that happened to you that you think you repressed, and then it came back to you. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so one part of the book that I talked about being molested as a kid, and I was around the age of 9. It's almost like one of those memories. I don't know exactly every, like pinpoint every detail of it, but I do remember what happened. And it was something that I didn't actually even think about or talk about, or I tucked it away in my memories for such a long time until I was doing a film called Cell that was basically dealing with sexual abuse. And I was like, in a scene with Laura Dern, and we were talking in between scenes, and I was like, wait, I think this happened to me. And it hit me at that moment.
So you're on a movie set acting.
Yes.
And that took you into your own emotions to say, wait, I actually went through this and I haven't thought about that in how long?
I haven't thought about it since it happened. It was like one of those things I had forgotten. And I think that human beings, we deal with things in different ways. And I would like to say it's people that are survivors that have been through a lot more difficult situations than mine. And they have to allow themselves the time that it takes to go through their process. And I have compassion for them. For myself, my experience has been about like me tucking it away and now having to deal with it in a way that's like, how can I forgive and move forward? How do I, when I talk about this, also do it from a place that is like, man, this is for other people's healing too. Like, this ain't just about me. The greatest purpose of it is like, okay, if I'm telling my story, I believe that someone will relate to it. Somebody might be going through a similar trauma and say, man, I can talk about this now. Because me talking about it has helped me. And I feel as an artist, as somebody who's in a public eye, we always show how great, like we like, yo, okay, you won an Oscar, you got these Grammys, you do. But we also have, I feel like it's my duty to show my flaws too, or show my fears.
And that you're struggling with certain things,
yes,
even as you have this other acclaim.
Exactly.
Someone who doesn't have as much acclaim as you, I think it's fair to say, is the current president. He might be more popular than him. And when you get up on an award stage and you mess with him, that bothers him.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick look at some of that. Why was it important for you to say that?
Well, it was important for me to say that because I feel like I'm a voice for a lot of human beings across our country. A lot of human beings that are being overlooked, a lot of human beings that are being ostracized and felt like they should be less than because of either color or religion or whatever their sexual choice, like if they may be from the LGBTQIA community, like it's a lot of just pushing people aside in a way. And I need to speak up. I'm a person that I have to speak up if I see any injustice of somebody being treated less than, or a whole society is being treated less than, and I just decided I needed to speak up.
Did you think he's gonna hear about this?
I mean, it was the Oscars. I felt that, he's gonna hear about this, and I was ready for whatever he wanted to deliver. It's cool, but I'm not. But
that's not your purpose. But do you know why, or have a theory why he seems so bothered by these things? I mean, he responded to Jay-Z during the campaign. Everyone knows who follows this. The right wing attacked President Obama when you were in the White House. The president responded to other celebrities. And what is it about this cultural power that gets this reaction?
I think for probably the president now, I think a lot of that seems to be ego, or wanting to be like.
So we talked about the book, we talked some politics. Can we talk some music?
Yes, sir.
You did a very controversial song with Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
And in it, you and she, in the song, discuss an abortion.
Yeah.
And you have the line, $315 ain't worth your soul.
Yeah.
You say, knowing you're the best part of life, do I have the right to take yours?
Yeah.
What was that song about? What does that mean to you?
That song was very personal because at that point in my life, me and my partner had an abortion, and it was heavy. You know, I got asked a lot of questions about how do I feel. Should somebody be able to have an abortion, or should someone have, should we allow that? I don't remember having those discussions, but one of the great discussions I had was a person who was a fan, came up to me after the show and was like, man, Common, that song, Retrospect for Life, it made me have my child instead of having an abortion. It made that person change their life, essentially. It was able to bring a life in the world, essentially, instead of that person deciding to have an abortion. So I felt like that was actually the thing that really helped make me realize that music is really powerful and can change lives and can really help shape things. It made me want to use the microphone for higher purpose for that set of reasons.
That's amazing that someone, whenever the decision comes and tell you that, and that, we know music shapes the way people look at the world. Before I let you get off this roof, let's finish a few sentences, if you will, since you are a poet. Hip-hop scares some people because
it's the voice of Black and Latino youth that they haven't been in proximity of. They haven't been proximate with them, so they don't understand or don't choose to try to understand.
In 50 years, people will say hip-hop means
it's been an amazing outlet for us to understand where America was in the most pure way that these voices showed us.
And Common has a lot of careers, but if you picked one, it would be
a hip-hop artist.
To the end.
To the end.
I really appreciate you going on the beat.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. Yeah. That was great.
And one more thing, a surprise appearance at Rosenstein's DOJ reception next.
I like to make my life easy.
Come on, bud.
What with that one?
Yes.
That's why I wear Skechers slip-ons. They're effortless. Just slip them right on and off. Skechers slip-ons. Air-cooled memory foam.
Why pay full price when you can get the brands you love at up to 60% off every day? Visit a Steinmart near you or shop online anytime at steinmart.com. Steinmart. Saving is a beautiful thing.
Tomorrow.
I'm starting a cheerleading club.
Well, go on then. Just go on with your bad time.
It's never too late.
That asked my husband what he said over my dead body. That was for us to see the practice.
Too pregnant.
Pregnant? Get pregnant.
From the producer of Book Club.
Life is short. He's reckless. There's one I'd rather go out there with.
Always looking to date a cheerleader. You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else. Why accept it for your allergy pills? Flonase Sensimus relieves all your worst symptoms, including nasal congestion, which most pills don't, and all from a gentle mist you can barely feel. Flonase Sensimus.
I switched to Liberty Mutual because they let me customize my insurance. And as a fitness junkie, I customize everything, like my bike and my calves. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you will be paid for what you need.
You should be mad at leaf blowers. You should be mad your neighbor always wants to hang out. And you should be mad your smart fridge is unnecessarily complicated. But you're not mad because you have E-Trade, which isn't complicated. Their tools make trading quicker and simpler so you can take on the markets with confidence. And don't get mad. Get E-Trade and start trading today.
hepatitis C, I felt I couldn't be at my best for my family. In only 8 weeks with Maverick, I was cured and left those doubts behind.
I face reminders of my hep C every day, but in only 8 weeks with Maverick, I was cured.
Even hanging with friends, I worried about my hep C, but in only 8 weeks with Maverick, I was cured. Maverick is the only 8-week cure for all common types of hep C. Before starting Maverick, your doctor will test if you have hepatitis B, which may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you have hepatitis B, a liver or kidney transplant, other liver problems, HIV-1, or other medical conditions, and all medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Don't take Maverick with atazanavir or rifampin, or if you've had certain liver problems. Common side effects include headache and tiredness. With hep C behind me, I feel free. There's no coming back, because I am cured.
I don't know who she is.
About Maverick.
I have heart disease. Watch what I eat. Take statin. I still struggle to lower my LDL bad cholesterol, which means a heart attack or stroke could strike without warning, pulling me away from everything that matters most. Because with high bad cholesterol, my risk of a heart attack or stroke is real. The PATHA plus a statin seriously lowers bad cholesterol by 63%. Drops my risk of having a heart attack or stroke.
Do not take Repatha if you are allergic to it. Repatha can cause serious allergic reactions. Signs include trouble breathing, swallowing, or swallowing the face. Most common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or cold symptoms, back pain, high blood sugar, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site.
I won't let a heart attack or stroke come between me and everything I love. Venus and you. Tell your doctor to lower your LDL and reduce your risk with Repatha. Pay no more than $5 per month for the Repatha copay card.
He took the recommendation of Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General.
No one can question Rod Rosenstein's credentials.
That attorney deputy made the recommendation. The president made a swift and decisive action.